Jiggy cat on a damn killer spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 round drum and be hanging like a centipede.
Hey everyone, it's me Nagato Revenge and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have something really special to showcase to you guys, and I'm very thankful that I could utilize my platform to talk about one of my favorite games that got me into the home modding scene in the very first place. As some of you guys know, I am an avid PlayStation Home fan, or you could call me a fanatic, and I still currently love Home in 2020. I am very excited that I have the opportunity to showcase to you guys some of the work that our current development team and myself have been working on behind the scenes since the initial offline release about 4 months ago. Ironically, around the same time, since it's March, back in March 2015, Home was sadly closed down. However, for all you Home vets out there, this video should bring some nostalgic vibes and joy, since we're doing a official offline update, which includes new spaces and future clothing. One thing I do want to go ahead and state as of right now for this whole process, I am going to be rambling and talking about a lot of details and information just about the project itself and how to basically set this up on the PlayStation 3. However, if you just want to go straight into the tutorial, I will have a timestamp right here, and then you could just skip the YouTube video. However, I do recommend that y'all guys listen to whatever I have to say, since there is a lot of cool things that I do want to mention about the project itself. And if you guys have any questions, once again, you could go ahead and feel free in the comment section down below to ask, or you could join our official Discord. But one thing I do want to state now is just some major disclaimers about the project and just some keynotes that I want to get through before we even get to the tutorial. So first things first, this project is purely for preservation and educational purposes, and this is just a bootable offline version, not utilizing actual HDK files. As well, in the future there will be also updates to this project, but consider this as a showcase and tutorial, and basically this whole video I'm doing for you guys is just a proof of concept. Some other disclaimers I do want to state about the project itself: the main focus and priority for this project is still to have a working online client, which is still being looked into as we speak, and is basically the top major priority for us. So in terms of more updates to offline, that will be in further notice. However, online is still a major topic for the development team as well. And one thing I do want to state about another disclaimer: consider this build a gift to all of our fans, supporters, and ex-developers who has helped out with this project. You guys already know who you are, and that's basically all I have to say in terms of disclaimers. One thing I do want to go ahead and get stated out the way is some other PlayStation Home videos. So if you did enjoy this video, or if you want to learn more about the original build that we did release about 4 to 5 months ago, you could go ahead and check out that video here, and you could see what we did for 0.89, and you could watch that video. Another video I do recommend if you love PlayStation Home and you do want to help out our project is the one called Help Us Preserve PlayStation Home, the one I made myself. And in that video, it teaches you on how to basically preserve your data, and you can send it to us, which is how we gain cash. And basically, to make it simple, this is how we restore items, restore scenes, and just general home data that can make once the online client's on, it basically helps us to restore most of everything, or basically all the scenes that we utilize back on Home. Just to kind of show you what I mean in picture form, here are some of the scenes that we archived from you guys by donating home data. So anybody who donated home data back in our Discord server, you could kind of see some of your guys favorite home scenes being already initialized and in like beta testing to run in the offline client. So you can see the playground here, Pier Park, the Buzz Space. I'm just kind of like cherry picking through stuff. You can see Mui Mui Island, Central Plaza, Aram Seaside, and just some other spaces that we've collected. These are not the only spaces, but we have a ton of stuff that has been archived, including items, scenes, and just general home data. So thank you for everyone who has been donating cash to us. But besides the point, that is not the main topic for today. I do just want to throw that in. What we're going to be focusing on is today's prerequisites, and anything and any useful guides and anything that I will have stated in today's video will be in the link in the description down below, plus with a pinned comment. So First things first, you need a jailbroken PlayStation 3 that is on DeX. So for today's example, I'll be using my 4.84 Rebug PS3 that's on DeX, my Slim. Note, for this process, this will not work for Hex users, and this will not work for Hen users at the moment. We're still looking into, other solutions for Hex and Hen for compatibility. But as of right now, for the PS3 side of things, this is not dealing with RPCF3. You need to be on DeX for this process. If you guys are interested on how to get to Hex to DeX, if you're on like 4.84, I will have a card and right now on the screen, and basically you could see all of the videos that will need to be supported for this topic. Another thing you will need is Prodigy Target Manager. I won't be providing a link to this since this is dealing with some Sony SDK development tools. You could just use Google to find a quick download, but I won't be providing that. This will allow us to initialize home and basically get it to boot up, so you will need a PC for this process as well. You also need a keyboard, since that's the method on how we're going to be transferring over to different spaces and scenes as well. You also need the PlayStation Home development files, which this is basically PlayStation Home itself, and you will need one key file which is called home developer.self, and this is the executable that is allowed to run home from your PC to your PS3. As showcased here once on the screen right now, these are the top videos that I recommend for this process. So with Prodigy Target Manager, you may not be able to use your wireless connection, so I do recommend using Ethernet, so I have that video up there as well. If you're on Hex and you want to convert to DeX, if you're on an applicable Rebug firmware version, you could go ahead and use that video. Let's say if you're on 4.85 Rebug and you need to downgrade to a DeX firmware, or basically a Hex firmware, since 4.85 doesn't allow DeX at the moment, you may have to downgrade for this process, or I should say you need to downgrade for this process because it won't work if you want to be on DeX. So all of my useful guides will be in the link in the description down below. But one thing I do want to get started on as well is some of the commands we're going to be talking about today, and I'll reiterate this once we boot into home itself. But when booting into home, you'll need to know the following commands to navigate. So one of the commands is just by typing home on your keyboard. That will boot you into Harbor Studio. The next one, or basically the next one right here, Map Marketplace, which is one of the newer scenes we just added, will boot you into the original mall. And later on in the video, I'm going to be showcasing on like the original mall, and you can hear like the nostalgic music. Of course, Map Home Square, which was back from 0.89 version, and that will boot you into Home Square. The next scene, which is a new scene, which is the bowling alley. So if you type in map game space, that will boot you into the actual bowling alley. But that's basically what I have to say in terms of commands. I do want to give a special thanks out to Project Destination Home and everybody who has joined in our Discord server. And don't forget, speaking of Discord, here's the official link right here on the screen. And if you are interested in this project or need any help, you could go ahead and click in the link in the description down below, or you could just type via from the URL. I do apologize for my intro being super long, but what we're going to do is get to the PS3 and PC and set this up. Alrighty, so as of right now, we're basically back onto the PC as showcased here. Assuming that you did either follow all the prerequisites and did listen to all the information I did state in the prerequisites, thank you for that. I know my intro was pretty long and I do apologize once again. Or for those of you who basically skipped from that timestamp just to get into the tutorial, at least everyone's on the same page now and we can actually get started on what we need to do on the PC side of things. So first things first, in the link in the description down below, as well in the pinned comment, you will see a file called destinationhome.war, and this will have all of the online, or excuse me, not online, but offline new updated content that is provided for today's video. All you'll need to do is use something like WinRAR or 7-zip and just hit extract files here and then hit OK onto your desktop, and basically just wait for the destination home folder to extract on your PC. What I'm going to do now is just wait for it to extract. Hopefully it won't take too long, since it's saying it has to take 33 minutes. I'm not too sure why, but I know there is some cache data. So what I'm going to do now is just cut the video right here, but once it's fully extracted out, what we're going to do is go on to the next step. So I'll meet you guys for that process. Alrighty, so as of right now, as showcased here, you can see that my destination home folder successfully extracted out via using WinRAR. So it only should take you guys only like 1 to 2 minutes to do it, maybe 5 tops. But I don't know why it was saying 33 minutes. Irregardless, what we're going to go ahead is check the destination home folder, open it up, go into the second destination home folder in here, and you should see a folder called build. Let's go ahead and open up that folder, and you should see basically these common files via right here. As of right now, what I will say, do not extract any of these files out of the actual folder, because if you take any of these files out, the build won't run. So it's very important just to leave it how basically the developers and myself left it as, so it will boot just fine from the PlayStation 3. But what we're going to do now is paste this to our C drive. So first things first, let's go ahead and back out once and twice to this destination home folder. Let's go ahead and either hit Control-C, or you can right click and hit copy, and we're going to go to our C drive. Our goal is just to paste this via to the root of our C drive. As is shown here, you can see I already did it from earlier since I was testing this out, but you can see right now I need to replace my files. But once your files has been successfully placed onto your C drive, we need to go ahead and get started on the PS3 side of things, and we need to go ahead and get started on Prodigy Target Manager and getting that set up via with the network. So what we need to do as of right now, I'm just going to let this finish copying over. We need to go to our PlayStation 3 and turn it on. My PS3 is already on for this process, but what you need to do as of right now, once your PlayStation 3 is on, is to grab a Ethernet cable and then plug that in from the PS3's Ethernet port to your PCs directly. So what I'll do in a second is probably have a picture somewhere on the screen edited so you can understand visually what I mean. But basically, you want your PS3 and PC to be connected via with an Ethernet cable, and then what you want to do is go to your PC, so what I'm doing right now, and you want to go ahead and type in Ethernet settings. So you could clearly see all you got to do is type in Ethernet settings, if I could spell today, and then just open that up. If you're on Windows 10, a setting should prompt up on your screen, and I'm just waiting for it to do its thing. What you want to do is go to change adapter options. You want to go to Ethernet, right click over it, go into properties, and then what you want to do is configure your IP into basically as direct FTP. So what you need to do is go into Internet Version Protocol 4, go into properties, where it says IP address, whatever you have, just take it out, and you want to go ahead and click 111. For your subnet mask, you want to make sure it has 255 right here, 000. So this is how it should look. So just hit OK, and then if that doesn't work, for example, you want to make sure to obtain DNS here, use IP address, and we could just do 111 255. OK, and it should automatically connect. Just to make sure, once again, is go into properties, and you want to make sure you use the following DNS server. All of this is blank, and once again your IP address should be 1111, and then subnet mask 255.0.0.0, because this is what we need to set up for our PS3 as well, and I'll show you guys on how to do that next. So as long as your internet protocol version and settings is like this, we could go ahead and close this out, and we're getting ready to set up direct FTP. So what we need to do as of right now, go back into our C drive, just check destination home. Basically the build is already copied into the direct location as showcased here. It already is. So what we need to do now, once it's copied to your C drive, what we need to do is go to the PlayStation 3 and then get our Ethernet cable set up via for direct FTP before we hit Prodigy Target Manager. So what I'm going to do now is go to our PlayStation 3 and showcase the next steps. Alrighty, so as showcased here, we're basically back onto the PlayStation 3 itself. As of right now, you should have your controller set up, and as of right now, your Ethernet cable should still be plugged in from your PC to your PlayStation 3. As of right now, what we need to do is go to our network settings, so that's what I'm doing here. And what we need to do is go into internet connection settings, and as showcased here, what I was reiterating 1,000 times over, if you're making a wire connection, so in this case you must have a Ethernet cable connected. So just make sure your Ethernet cable is plugged in, hit OK. Now what we want to do is go into custom, wired, manual settings, auto detect, IP address, make sure it's manual, Where it says IP address, make sure you have everything set to my settings here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run through each column so we all on the same page. So your IP address should be 1.1.1.2, subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Your default router should be 1.0.0.0, primary DNS 1.1.1. or basically 4 ones, and as well your secondary DNS should be 1.1.1. The next step, what you want to do is for MTU, just make sure it's on automatic. Where it says proxy server, please put to do not use. UPnP, make sure that is enabled, and then just go ahead and save those settings. Test connection, the only connection you should be worried about for this process is the obtain IP address. If it says succeeded, you could go ahead and back out. So that's what I'm doing here right now. It shouldn't say anything in terms of connected, but you can see that my IP address is now 1.1.12. The only reason why I connected to 1.1.1 is I already have Prodigy Target Manager installed. But as of right now, what you want to do, just to be sure, for this process, if you don't see your IP address up in the corner, what you can do is use any application of choice like Rebug Toolbox, just boot into that, and then wait onto the main screen if it's not prompting up in Prodigy Target Manager. But what I'm going to do now is go back into the PC, and I'm going to teach you guys on how to connect your PS3 and PC via with a Ethernet cable for the rest of this tutorial. Alrighty, so as of right now, we basically got the PC set up in terms of our Ethernet connection. As well, we just did the PlayStation 3. So what we need to do now is go ahead and open up Prodigy Target Manager for this process. So here's Prodigy Target Manager, wherever you get it from, basically online. This is how the actual application looks. As you notice right here, you can see that my PlayStation 3 that I'm testing on is already connected, and you notice, if you guys remember earlier, this is the IP address that we set our PS3 to. What we're going to do now is just or what I'm actually going to do is just delete this connection, since I'm going to teach you guys on how to do this from scratch. But what we're going to do in Prodigy Target Manager, it doesn't matter what version you have. I know mine says 4.70, 4.20 will work as well. Any version basically higher than 4.0 will work for Prodigy Target Manager. But what we need to do is go ahead and add a PlayStation 3, and that's what I'm going to teach you guys on how to do. So first things first, it's very important once again that your Ethernet cable is plugged into your PS3 to PC, or to your PC. And what we're going to do is go to add target. Now all we're going to do is create a name. You can name this anything. I'm just going to call it my name. So I'm going to call my PS3 Nagato. But the thing what you want to do is make sure you're set as debug station. Your guys don't have a actual development kit, or like basically a DECR, thus you don't want to click reference tools, or your PlayStation 3 won't connect. Don't do core dump, because that's something different. Basically once you're on Dex, that's a test kit essentially. So just go ahead and click debugging station. Your IP address should be 1.1.2 or 1.1. Or I even can't say it, but 1.1.1.2, excuse me, I can't even talk today, but this is what your IP should be. And then your port will be 1000, just hit next. Then you will just get a summary, basically a confirmation. So your name of your PS3, you could just literally name it test PS3, whatever you want to. Your description, make sure it's debugging station. It doesn't matter if it says all these model PS3s, don't worry about it. The only thing that should matter here is if you're on debugging station, your port's 1000 and your IP address is set to 1.1.1.2, and then hit finish. Now what should happen is you should see your debugging station, as well as you should see the status available. What you should do is just right click over it and hit connect, and if everything works, you should get the green light. So if basically you're not getting the green light, there is something wrong with your connection. Either you didn't set it up correctly on the PC or on the actual PS3 itself. So make sure to just reiterate, basically go back in the video, or you can ask in the link in the description down below and I can help you there. But what we want to do now is go ahead and right click over our thing, and you will get a bunch of options, or basically our target. So what we need to do as of right now is to go to set file serving directory app home, and we need to find our location for home. So let's go back into our C drive. So I'm clicking this right here. We're going to go to our destination home folder that we just copied over, go into build, and basically you just want to go into the build folder. So if you see all of these files right here, just go ahead and hit select, and the destination for your file serving directory should be C drive, destination home build. Your home directory, just right click over again, set home directory. Go back into your C drive. destination home, and this is the folder that it should be located at. So your C drive or your home directory should be just C drive destination home. File server directory should be C drive destination home build. So basically the app home will be the user directory for your PS3 if you guys, you know, ever mess with PlayStation 3 games. But besides the point, what you want to do is right click over this where it says reset mode. You want to make sure you're on debug mode, because if you're on system software mode, that's X and B, and then you want to make sure you're on debug mode for this process. If you're still set to system software, PlayStation Home will not boot up and it'll just basically take you back to X and B. What you want to do now is go ahead and load and run executable. So once you go and load and run executable, make sure your PS3 is still on. What you want to do is go ahead and initialize the home developer.self. So before I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my capture card on my PS3 side of things so you can see that the PlayStation 3 console is rebooting. So give me 1 second right here. Alright, so my capture card is right now on. If I hit open, you can see that my screen just went black on my PS3, and I'll probably have it edited out right here. But right now what is happening is my PlayStation 3 is setting into debug mode. If I actually go into console output, what is happening is basically it's trying to boot into debug mode. So you can see all of it, or the actual developer.self is booting up now. What I'm going to do is turn back on my capture card. And then via right now, in terms of my capture card, you should see PlayStation Home booting up right now on my screen. Probably you'll see it right here where I'm scrolling my mouse over. But yeah, this is PlayStation Home booting up to 0.97. So what I'm going to do as of right now is cut the video out from PC, and we're just going to go ahead and go strictly onto the actual PlayStation 3 itself. So that's what I'm doing here. Alrighty guys, so as of right now, you should be on PlayStation Home. As showcased here, you can see that we're on successfully the loading screen. Before we even get into the nitty gritty and before I get into the full showcase of this process, what you need to do is go ahead and of course make sure your PS3 controller is turning on. So just either hit the home button. As well, you want to go ahead and make sure you have a keyboard connected to your PS3. The reason why we need a keyboard for this process is because we need to type in commands so we could go into the newer spaces and scenes. So first things first, all we got to do is hit X onto here. And what we need to do is go ahead and hit select on our PlayStation 3 controller. In my case, I'm using a PS4 DualShock one, a fake one by the way from Amazon. And what we're going to do is just hit options if you're using a PS4 controller. But once you get into the main menu for PlayStation Home, in the right hand corner you can see kind of it loading back and forth, and you should get a loading bar. What should happen on your guys' end, you should see basically you to boot into Harper Studios. So as of right now, you could clearly see that I have custom clothing on. This build that I'm showing you guys as of right now, it's the same as yours, but basically it's a test build that I've been working on myself, and I'm just kind of showing you guys and previewing some stuff that is yet to come for, you know, future online updates as well possibly offline updates. But one thing I do want to state, there's no ETAs on that, but this is just kind of a proof of concept of what we've been working on. But first things first, I do want to go ahead and show you some of the UI and some of the cool things you could do within this newer update we've done. You can see that we still have the PSP implemented. You can change the skins to your liking. So if you wanted to, you know, do a custom skin, if you want the original home one, you can. I kind of like the PlayStation 3 one, if I could find it. Yeah, this one right here. So you can kind of go ahead and do that. If you want to change your pop-up color, if you want to give your character some style, you can as well. So you can see that here. One thing I do want to showcase now, which may not be in y'all guys' build for this you know, process, is just clothing has been worked on. So you can see here that on my avatar I have the Bulls jersey. You can clearly see I have custom clothing, so this is my official logo that I've been utilizing myself. But you can see that clothing does work. I've been testing out some stuff myself, so you can see that I have the PSP in hand. You could clearly see some of my textures is off just because I was messing with stuff around. So that's why I was stating that you guys may not have you know, major clothing. You may have like maybe one shirt in your guys build, I believe, but As showcased here, you can see that, you know, jeans work and everything of that nature. But yeah, let me go ahead and back out from here. But you can see clothing works fine like if it was online. But what we're going to do is focus on the scenes and the new update itself. So one of the new scenes that we have implemented for you guys is the actual original home, or not original home, but the original mall. So basically on how to get to the mall, I'll show you guys on how to do that. All you got to do is hit options on your PS3 controller, and you want to go ahead on your keyboard and type map marketplace. Let me go ahead and type that in. And then what should happen now, you should be back into the original home mall. So if I just be quiet for a second, you can hear the beautiful music. If you guys remember from the original mall, I never really got to experience the original mall, sadly, except when I went to Japan home, but this is probably some nostalgic vibes for you guys. But as you can see here, here's the official mall. Some of the store, or basically none of the stores are working, but we're still looking into that as well on how to implement stores. But you can see here, all of the textures is where it needs to be. We've done some changes as well. The development team, we added our own logo just to, you know, give it some, you know, a kind of a refinish or kind of re-upgrade some of the stuff in the actual scene itself. But yeah, you can see that I am playing in 2020 in the offline mall. One cool thing, if I go ahead and scan out my camera, or basically go into debug mode, you can see like the whole mall itself. If I go all the way back out, you could kind of see some of Home Square starting within out the mall, or kind of its textures. So that's pretty cool itself that even Home implemented that as well. Let me go ahead and back out, and I could kind of give you a rundown. So let me actually type in this command real quick to run faster, since, you know, PlayStation Home walking takes too long. I know this kind of looks wonky, but you can see if there was a player here, the chess game actually does work. So if we were to enable chess, I can play, you know, kind of chess by myself if I wanted to. But, you know, there ain't no point in that because you can't win or beat yourself. But you can see that, you know, this scene is working just fine. Let's go ahead and go back into another scene, which we're going to be talking about today, which is map game space, and that is the bowling alley. So let me go ahead and do that right now. It may take a little while on my end to map the game space. Sometimes my PlayStation is freezes, which it probably did right now. So what I may do is cut the video, go back into Harbor Studio, and then I'm going to show you guys on how to get to the bowling alley, which is the newer space, or excuse me, the newer space itself. So let me go ahead and show you guys that now.
A few moments later.
Alrighty guys, I do apologize about that. Sometimes my PlayStation 3 wants to freeze on me, but what I'm going to do now is show you guys on how to actually get to the bowling alley itself, which is one of the newer scenes that the development team has released for you guys. What we're going to do is just go ahead and hit select on our controller to prompt up CMD. We want to go and type in map and then game space. So literally just map, space, game, and then space, if that makes sense. But right now, you could kind of hear the classic bowling alley music in the background. So if I just be quiet for a second, you could hear it. As you notice here, we're into the bowling alley. And the cool thing about this version of the bowling alley, we successfully made the pool table work. So if you wanted to go ahead and play pool, practice on your pool skills, like if you were to do on PlayStation Home. Mind you, I did pretty good, but I usually suck at this game. But yeah, pool works. I got a couple of, you know, balls in. No pun intended, please don't laugh. But you can see here, pool does work. You also notice that the Destination Home logo is right here as well, just to show that to you guys. We got bowling working as well in this build, so I'm probably gonna mess up. I'm not really good at bowling, but you can see that, you know, the bowling game is doing what it needs to do in terms of playing. Let's see if we could get myself a strike, since I did, you know, horribly. Let me go right here. I'm trying to time this right. This is not no Wii Sports, but all right, let's see. That looks good. Hey, so look, I got y'all guys a strike, but Right now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and exit out. But yeah, you can see that now we could play it in the bowling alley as well as the original mall space. Hopefully in the future, we can implement more more scenes and spaces for you guys, including clothing items. But yeah, this is essentially the end of the guide and tutorial. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. I didn't want to make it too long, so I do apologize for my intro being long. But with that being said, my name is Nagato Revenge. Please be sure to join our Discord or even my own official Discord if you have any questions about this project. If you have any questions, make sure to comment down below. But with that being said, my name is Nagato's Revenge and I'm signing out. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me Nagato once again. Thank you for taking your time and checking out today's video. It really does mean a lot to me as well as the development team. There is one special thing and special treat that I did forget to mention, and it just dawned on me while I was editing. But as showcased here now on the screen itself, there is some Easter egg that I made for you guys in a video. Basically to all of the cash donators as well as the people who have nitro boosted our server, I made a special video for you guys on the basically in home square as showcased here, and I do want you guys to see that, and I really do appreciate all of the time and donations and basically all of the work that you guys gave to us, so basically we can implement scenes for the future for home. So thank you. Without you guys' contributions, we wouldn't be able to even have these much items and scenes to be implemented into online and offline. Once again, thank you all, and I'm signing out for real this time. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me Nagato's Revenge here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. With that being out the way as well, I highly do recommend that y'all guys go ahead and follow my social media so you never miss any of the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel by subscribing to me and hitting that notification button as well. Is another method on how you will know when I drop my latest content, whether it be for the Vita, PS4, PS3 and such and so forth. As well, if you want to be in the mix of things and you want to join my official community, you can join via the link right now showcased on the screen and join my Discord that way. And if you do want to support my channel in any shape or form, you could become a patron. I will have a card right now. But with all of that getting out the way, hope you guys really did enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.